Well, Christmas time is a-comin', and it's time for you to learn how to play some of the most famous Christmas songs of all time. So in this video, we're going to take a look at "O Holy Night." I'm going to show you how to play it as a soloist. So you'll be able to sit down after you've gone through this video and play this song for your family and friends, and I'm sure they will enjoy hearing it. Be prepared to put a little effort into this, and I think it will definitely be worthwhile. So let's switch to the overhead camera and take a look at this very famous Christmas song. Let's begin by looking at the melody. As you can see, we are in the key of C. This one starts actually with a 2-beat pickup. So this would be starting on beat 3. Now, you'll notice the way this is notated in this lead sheet, you have a dotted 8th note and a 16th note. But we're actually not going to play it strictly in time, otherwise it sounds like this. Obviously, that's not the feel that we want, so we're actually going to loosen the timing a little bit. And sometimes you'll see this song notated in 6/8 time. This particular lead sheet, however, gives it to us in 4/4. So when we see that dotted 8th note and 16th note, we're not going to play it strictly the way it's written. And that's how it goes with lead sheets a lot of the times. You're using the written out melody as a guide, because this tune is so familiar that you could probably pick it out by ear. So it's almost like a swing feel, not really swing. And we have that phrase repeated, but there's going to be a variation coming up. This part's the same. But now all of a sudden we're going to switch keys. So when you see that the melody ends on E here, that this phrase ends on an E, you know that we are in now a different key, which actually is going to be E minor. But then it suddenly goes back to C. And that repeats. And now we're at the big chorus. Now notice here, the lead sheet gives us 2 8th notes, but we're going to still use that, because that's the way most people sing it. Da, da, dee. Sorry, I just got over a very nasty cold, so my voice sounds a little bit rough. And then here's the climax of the whole song, where all those singers can show off their high note. Same thing here. We're not playing, but this should be very familiar to many of you. Here's the big climax again. All right, so that's not too terribly difficult to play. Now, of course, we can start by playing just our basic chords. As you can see, we have C and then F. And it's easier to go from C to F, second inversion, back to C, and then we have G7. You can play it this way. And then we go back to F. We're at long lay the world in sin and ever sin in error, pining. And now we go to E minor. And you can just simply move the root of C down to B. Now you have E minor, B7, and E minor. Now G7, C, then G7 again, and then C, and now we're going to A minor. We'll play it this way in second inversion. There's root position, first inversion, second inversion. We'll play it this way because we're going straight to E minor. And then we can go from E minor to D minor. We can play it this way because we'll go from D minor to A minor. Now, of course, there's more than one way to do it. We can go from E minor to D minor and then up to A minor. Or we can go from E minor to all the way up here. We can just jump. You can figure out which way you would like to play it. You can even play A minor in root position and then go down to E minor, then D minor, and then A minor. And then you only have to move A to G to get C, G7, C, C7, F. Notice here they give you C over G, which leads you to G7, and then C. Back to G7, C, C7, F, C over G, G7, and then you can play big fat C major chord. So it ends up sounding like this in a very simple form. We can actually play the C in that 2-beat pickup. Whoops, I have to play the melody right. Then G7, now we can jump all the way up here in the left hand. All right, now that's very plain sounding. So let's see what we can do with the left hand to make this more interesting. Now you may have heard it played like this as an accompaniment. Holy night, and so on. But we're going to try to play it now as a soloist. So we're going to keep that simple melody in the right hand. But here's what the left hand is going to sound like. We're basically playing the C major chord, turning it into an arpeggio or a broken chord. And then F would sound like this. Then C, and then G7 looks like this. Now notice how the melody fits in with this. We're playing basically triplets. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So you may want to practice the left hand on its own before you add the melody. Now here, whoops, you know I still can't talk and play at the same time. So we're playing the E minor, breaking the chord up. Now what we're going to have to do here is just play like this. Otherwise, we kind of get into the way of the melody. And now here we are with the big climax. We can play it like this. Let's take that left hand by itself. So notice we're going to play the A minor chord on the word fall. We'll arpeggiate it or break it up like this. Instead of like this, it's going to get, your hands are going to be crashing into each other. So and then D minor. So here we have C. We're going to start on G and then G7. Now here, if you want to try and get that C7 in there, you can play it like this. C and then C7. And if you're holding down the pedal, then you get all the notes in there. Now you'll notice on this lead sheet they put the F over the B, but I like to bring the F in one beat sooner. So instead of this, I think it sounds better, and it's just my opinion, by the way. You may like it that way, and that's fine. Now notice here we're just going to play 3 notes in repeating pattern. So there you can play C, C7, and then go right to F. And then there you can just play a solid G7, because that will signify to your audience that you're coming to the end. So that's one way you can play the left hand. You can also try something like this, which is closer to the original accompaniment. This might require a little bit more thought and a little bit more practice. Notice it's the same as this, except it's in a different inversion. So you can try playing it with that accompaniment. Or you can even simplify it further, just playing 3 notes. So you can start by figuring out what pattern you want to use in the left hand. So you have this pattern, or this pattern, or this pattern. Now, of course, if you're feeling really adventurous, you can mix them up. Change patterns whenever you feel like it. You have the complete freedom to make this your own arrangement. Nobody else will play Old Holy Night quite like you. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please be sure to leave those in the comments section. Also, I want to invite you to join the At Home with Music community. You'll be able to post and communicate with other subscribers to the channel, ask any questions you like, start discussions about any of my videos, and just express your thoughts. Let us know what's on your mind. If you'd like to support my work, you can go to my Patreon page, and you'll find some other ways to support me coming up in the near future. Thank you again for watching, for playing along, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one.